episode of VUTV Watch Party. My name is Zoe Barajaz, and with me today I have Bodinus and Issac Dvorak. Thank you so much for joining me, guys.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me.
And today we are going to talk about the Oscars that happened last week on March 15th. So to start off, did either of you watch the Oscars?
I was there. I was there for a little bit of it.
Wait, you were at the Oscars?
No, I mean like watching it.
Okay.
I also did watch it. I was a little behind because I was traveling, but I was like, make sure we got to get this recorded, and so then I was able to go back and watch it.
Yes. So I also watched it. I watched the whole thing from start to finish, caught a little bit of the red carpet, did the whole deal. So let's start off by talking about some of those red carpet looks. Before the show, a bunch of celebrities walked the carpet and showed off their outfits for the ceremony that night. And let's take a look and talk about a few of them now. Let's start off with Michael B. Jordan, who was nominated and then won Best Actor for his role as the twins Smoke and Stack for Sinners. Here he is on the red carpet. He wore a black suit with that accented chain. What do we think?
I'm a big fan of like the high collared kind of silhouette, and him in the full black suit, he just looks very sleek. I really like his outfit.
Yeah, he's a very attractive man to begin with, and I think this just, honestly, it was perfect for him. I love the all black, the chains, everything. It was perfectly put together, and honestly, it looks great.
Yeah. Next up, we have Jessie Buckley's look. She was nominated for Best Actress and won for her role in Hamnet. There it is. It is this beautiful pink ensemble with the red accenting off the shoulder.
I feel like there were a lot of like duller colors on the red carpet this year, and I think that her outfit just really stood out with the bright pink and the bright red, almost like a Valentine's Day reminiscent. It's really cute. I like it.
I also do like it. I like the pink. The pink and red color combo was surprising to me. I wouldn't have thought to put those together, but I think she was able to pull it off, and it looks really good, specifically on her. And I liked the pink, just looks well and goes well with her skin tone.
Yes. Up next is one of my personal favorites from the night. That would be Kate Hudson's look, which is this gorgeous teal dress with these. It's very shiny and sparkly. Has a bunch of gems and jewels on it. There it is. I thought it fit her very well. It fit the movie that she was nominated for, which was Song Sung Blue. I was also really obsessed with the necklace she was wearing. I thought it was stunning.
I think that the silhouette is very interesting with the low cut in the front and then it kind of fanning out towards the waist and then just straight down from there. And then of course, the sparkles are always amazing. I love glitter in any way. The more glitter, the better.
I like the simplicity of it. It's very, it's simple, but it's not, right? We're not mixing color combos or anything, so it's simple and just stunning and attractive, specifically for, here being with the Oscars red carpet, it looks very appropriate.
Yes. Next, we have another look that had a little bit of shock value for everybody. This was Pedro Pascal, who notably shaved his mustache. The mustache he has sported for years now. When he walked the red carpet, it was kind of a shock to everybody that he was stashless. There it is. Yeah.
It almost doesn't look like him.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like he looks at least a couple years younger without the mustache. He's got a little bit of a baby face. But, man, that brooch he's wearing is also very interesting. Very noticeable. Not quite as noticeable as his lack of mustache, but...
Yes.
I love this. It's great. It's simple. A lot of these that we saw were so simple, and I think that was honestly. It was perfect. And you're right, the brooch is everything, and it makes up for the mustache being gone. So
Yes, yes, it does.
It is lovely. I do like this one.
Yes. So now we're going to kind of pivot from more of a simple look to something that was a little bit more dramatic, and that would be Demi Moore's look, which has quite a few feathers on it. There it is. This is very different from kind of what we've been seeing so far in red carpet looks.
I honestly think this was my favorite red carpet look from the night. I like the kind of black swan kind of vibes she's giving off. She looks almost like a crow or a raven. I think it's really beautiful. And I also noticed that feathers seem to be trending now. And the red carpet rather. So that was an interesting trend. I definitely wasn't expecting to see so many people wearing feathers.
I agree with Isaac. I think that this was also my favorite of the night. This is like, if I was there, this is something I would want to wear. Like, I'd want to wear this on the red carpet. So I completely agree. The colors are perfect. The feathers just, it takes it to another level. And I love how it's not too much, right? It's like a good, like, this is a lot. But she pulls it off really well. And I really like this one.
Yes. Now we have Elle Fanning's look, which is it's a switch up from kind of what we've been seeing, which has been a lot of, with the exception, like, it's more of the, yeah, there it is. It was a white dress. It had these I loved the detailing on this dress. I thought it was very nice. It was a lot of flowers, a lot of wisteria. She mentioned in a couple of the interviews that she did on the red carpet. But out of all of the things, I've been really obsessed with the necklaces that the women were wearing. The piece that she's wearing is an antique piece. I believe she said it was from the early 1900s. But regardless, I'm obsessed with the necklace. The dress, it's nice. It's not like super stand-out-ish, but I think it fits her really well.
I think white has a tendency, especially in a silhouette like this, to look a little bridal. I don't think that she necessarily looks bridal. I think she looks more like angelic and ethereal in her dress. But I do think it is very beautiful.
I agree. I also often associate white with for bridal, but it does have a lot of different like the design and the pattern on it. It makes it stand out a little bit more. And I also agree, Zoe. I have loved the necklaces that they've been wearing, and I think the necklace fits very well with this dress. But I do think it is a very pretty dress, and she looks very happy in it. So I think that's really all that matters.
Yes. Next, we've got Rose Byrne. She wore more of a simpler silhouette, but the detailing on this dress is so well done, in my opinion.
I really like the very intricate embroidery. I think that the embroidery, the flowers, that's really what makes this dress stand out. I feel like we did get to see a lot of black this year, and again, a lot of simple this year, but I love just looking at those intricate little flowers she's got on her dress. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I would agree. It's simple, but the flowers, they make it everything. It's different than what we've been looking at, right? Everybody's dress has been a little bit different, but this one, the flowers, it is very intricate, and it looks very stunning on her, and the black was a good color choice for the background of the flowers.
What do we think about the necklace she's wearing?
It is a nice necklace.
Yes.
It's different.
It's different.
It's different.
I don't hate it. It probably isn't what I would have chosen, right? But
it works for her.
Yeah.
Really well.
I'd agree, for sure.
And then last, we've got Chase Infinity from One Battle After Another. Now, this dress was a little bit unique, especially in its color choice. She chose to wear this kind of lilac lavender color that I do not recall seeing on pretty much anyone else at the Oscars this year, which I think helped to stand out, and it just looks so lovely on her.
I think that the color choice was definitely very interesting. I do like the lilac lavender. She stands out in that color so much. I also like the kind of asymmetrical cut on the dress where the ruffles are kind of, it looks like they're peeking through almost. I'm not typically a huge fan of ruffles, but I think with this particular silhouette, they look very interesting.
I'd agree. I really like the color. It's very springy, like it's exciting, it's light, and it's not like white, so it's not that extreme of the black or the white, right? We get like this nice kind of light shade. The ruffles are definitely a bold choice. They look good here, and like it fits her very well. I love it, but again, not something I don't know if I would choose based off of like some of the other looks that we've seen.
All right. So that kind of wraps up our talk about the red carpet for today. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to talk about some of the Best Picture nominations from this year's Oscars. So we will be right back. Welcome back to VUTV Watch Party. Now we're going to talk for a little bit about some of the Best Picture nominations from this year's Oscars. So, guys, how many of this year's Best Picture nominees were you able to see before the Oscars?
I saw almost all of them. There
Really?
were a couple that I didn't see. My goal was to see all of them, but there, specifically, I think there were 3 I didn't see. So Marty Supreme, The Secret Agent, and Sentimental Value. I didn't get to those ones, but I was able to hear from other people their opinions and what they thought about them.
Isaac?
I saw, like about 6 or 7 of the movies. I thought all of them were very deserving of being Best Picture nominated. I think all of them are amazing.
I was able to see most of the Best Picture nominations. I wasn't able to see, like Curly said, I wasn't able to see some of them because they aren't out on streaming yet. Like Marty Supreme doesn't come out for a few more weeks. And then this same thing, I believe, with Sentimental Value. But I was able to see quite a few of them. I know we watched a couple together.
Yes, we did, yes.
But let's kind of briefly talk about some of them. Let's start off with kind of going down the line here, Begonia. So this was one that Carly and I watched together. And it's an interesting movie. It's about these two cousins who kidnap a woman who they are convinced is an alien, and they are basically trying to make her. She is trying to convince them that she is not an alien, but they're convinced that she is an alien, and they want her to take them to her ship, which will take them to her leader. That's basically the plot, but
without
spoiling anything, of course. So, what did you think, Carly?
I feel like this was just like a mouth-dropping like movie the entire time. Like I feel like I was just like, what is happening the entire movie? I think it was definitely like it was a really good movie, right? I'm glad it was nominated for Best Picture, but it was shocking. It was weird.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot to process. It was a lot to think about, and it felt very like not like a 2025 movie, right? Like it felt like it should have been like recorded, I don't even know, like in the
the early 2010s.
Yes, 100%. And so it was odd. Like I was like, am I really watching a movie that's nominated for the 2026 Oscars?
I felt the same way. I also had a little bit of beef with the score when we were watching it, because it was the way that they did the score was really well done, I guess, to fit in the movie. However, they did really like to jump scare you with the music. Like it would just be dead quiet, and then you just hear bah! And I'm like, and I do agree. I think there was a lot of the points, even though I was locked into that movie, there were points where I was like, what is even happening? Like, how is this going to play into the plot? And then I think once you get to the end, especially, like you can really understand. You're like, oh, like you suddenly are like able to be like, oh, well that now makes sense why this happened here and that happened there. But
I am a big fan of like just really weird movies, and like I did really like how this movie was just very out of the ordinary, and then there were a lot of things that didn't make sense leading up to it, but then everything just comes together in the end. And I really liked I kind of like being a little confused when I'm watching movies, and then at the end, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I love to watch those movies again, just so I can be like, pick out all the different things that I notice now the second time around that play into the plot later.
Yeah, I'm a question asker, so I'm the worst person to watch like a movie that like we've never seen together before, because I'm going to expect you to know all of the answers that I don't know. So I feel that this was one of those, is every second something weird happened, I was like, why did that happen? How did that happen? What are they doing? Why are they doing that? And nobody in the room knows, but I'm going to keep asking you. Yep. And so this one was probably very frustrating for Zoe and the rest of the people watching it with us, because I can't not ask, because
Girl,
I want to know.
I was doing the same thing to you. Like, we were just literally going, what's going on? I don't know what's going on.
And we didn't watch it all in one full setting, right? So halfway through, I had to take it the entire day and just be like, what's going to come next? I'm constantly thinking about, is she an alien? Is she not an alien? What's going to happen next? Like, how's this going to end? Like, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, is somebody going to die? Like, I'm always waiting in a movie for somebody to die. And like right, it's happening a lot in like all of these movies, right? Like, it's a common like theme that somebody usually dies, like the emotions, and so you're like constantly waiting. Now you've got aliens in the mix, and you're like, what is going to happen next?
The bees.
Yeah. The bees. Yeah, the bees. And oh my gosh. And just like, it was a lot, but I think it was really good, and I think it's worth everybody's watch, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I recommend it to go and watch if you want to just
be confused.
Like, yeah, be confused.
And then not confused.
And understand like how these conspiracy theories can be so wrong, so dangerous, but
and blown
also
out of proportion
right,
really fast.
Like, so weird. It gives you every emotion throughout this movie.
Okay. I want to briefly talk about F1, which was a movie about a middle-aged race car driver. He drove all kind of race cars, played by Brad Pitt, who gets recruited to go back and help out a team that is basically in last place in the F1 racing circuit. And the owner, who he's known for many years, is looking at possibly selling the team if they can't pull off some wins. And he asks his old friend to come back to F1, where he had kind of started his whole racing journey, and come back and do one last race and help out. So what did you guys think of the movie? I don't know how much you guys were able to see of it, but
I was able to finish it, and it was long. It was a good movie. I kind of thought it dragged after a little bit, though. Like, I was like, this is exciting, and then I was like, just kidding, I'm not really excited anymore. But, like, Brad Pitt, he's great, right?
Yeah,
like, everybody's like, oh my gosh, I have to watch this movie. And it was good, and I think it was definitely, like, deserving of everything. And I read somewhere, I believe that it was, like, one of the most expensive movies to put on based off of, like, the Best Picture, like, nominees, which makes total sense, right? All the equipment they use.
The licensing.
The licensing, the tracks, like, anything that they had to use or get to do it. It makes sense that it was so expensive, it cost so much, and they had great, like, actors and actresses on it. But it wasn't my favorite. I was hoping it was going to be, though. I was really excited for it, and then it just kind of wasn't what I was fully expecting, but I still think it was, it got its nomination like it should have.
I'm not sure it was particularly, like, my favorite type of movie to watch, but I grew up in Daytona, Florida, so I kind of grew up around that, like, F1 racing culture. So I do think that it was pretty accurately portrayed in that respect. I do think that there were a couple times in the movie where the pacing felt a little, could have used a little bit of work, but overall I do think it was, like, I think it's worth a watch. I think it was a good movie.
I watched the movie. I thought it was fine. Personally, I think what really stood out for me was the sound design. I think the sound design was so well done. It felt to me when I was watching the movie, even though it was at home, I felt like I was at the racetrack watching these races happen, which I think really helped to bring me into the story, especially at those kinds of times. Yeah. So up next, we're going to talk about Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which I have a lot of mixed emotions about. It was the first out of everything that we're going to talk about here. Is the first of these movies to kind of make me emotional, and I cried, and I really felt something. I was texting Carly throughout the entire movie about my thoughts, and yeah.
I absolutely loved this movie. Like, I watched it with my dad. It was just us. We, like, hung out and watched it one night, and it was great. Like, I was sitting there and I was like, oh my gosh, everything about this movie is exactly what I wanted it to be. Like, it reached all of my expectations, and all of the hype that it got, it definitely, like, got to that. And it was emotional, it was exciting, it was like, it was everything it needed to be. I also almost, like, cried and sobbed because it was so emotional, but it was so good. They did such a good job being able to, like, keep that audience in. And it's a longer movie, and I was able to, like, sit through the whole thing and just be like, no, I must finish this one right now. I'm so excited to know what's going to happen next. But also so emotional.
I am just already naturally, like, a very emotional person.
Same.
I'm a big time
Same.
crier, especially with movies. So this one did strike a particular chord with me. I thought it was just so beautifully done. Really, really, really emotional. But overall, it was an amazing movie.
Yeah.
I also have loved to be able to watch, like, the, like, development of, like, Jacob Elordi, like, throughout his movies, right? Like, where we started to where we are now is crazy. And I'm really glad that we have been able to, like, watch this, like, development of him as become, like, the actor that he is. And he was amazing. Like, I feel like this is his movie. He did great.
He
he
shined.
deserved everything throughout
Yes.
it.
Yes. Yes. Let's talk about Hamnet now, which is another movie on this list that absolutely wrecked me emotionally. Because I love Shakespeare, I love plays. So I kind of knew about Hamnet and like the real story of like him going into it. So the minute I found out that there was going to be a movie made about like a story that was based off of William and his wife Agnes and Anne's life together and how they met, married, had kids, and then had their son, and then eventually lost their son, I knew I was going to be a mess. And darn it, I was right. It made me feel every emotion, from joy to pain to anger. I had to pause at least twice just to collect myself because I was like sobbing so hard. But I would be curious to hear what you guys felt and thought when you watched the movie.
Before I watched it, I knew the ending, right? And I think a lot of people knew like what the big emotions of this movie were going into it before they watched it. And honestly, I wish I didn't, because I had just been anticipating and waiting. I'm like I know what's coming. When's it gonna happen? And I feel like it didn't ruin the movie for me, but it made it more emotional, because from the beginning I was emotional. From the beginning I was like, this movie has so much loss and hurt and just pain throughout all of the, like, through everybody. Everybody was experiencing pain and hurt throughout the movie. And so then as like a viewer, I was also experiencing that from the beginning, knowing what was coming. I just loved Jessie Buckley in this. Like, she is amazing, and very awarding of this movie. But it was a lot, and I think it was one of like the most emotional one probably that was nominated for Best Picture. And it was a hard watch, I won't lie. It was hard. It was sad.
I'm a big fan of Shakespeare and his works, and I think that kind of the more you look into it, the more you realize just how like interesting the man himself was and how interesting his life was. So I was also very excited for this movie, and I think it was just incredibly well done. Again, Jessie Buckley was amazing in this movie. If you have the time, I would definitely give this one a watch, 100%.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Next up, we'll talk about One Battle After Another, which, if you remember from our last show, I lovingly referred to as the bathroom break movie. Now I would like to, since I have a new panel of guests here, I'm interested to hear what your guys' thoughts were on the movie, because I kind of made them clear myself in the last episode of the show, but I'd be clear what your guys' thoughts were on the show, on the movie.
I didn't know what I was signing up for when I watched this movie.
Yeah, I didn't warn you at all.
No.
I just said, go watch this movie,
No,
Carly.
no warnings at all.
It'll be
I
great.
had no idea what I was getting myself into. And honestly, it was probably for the better, because I don't know if I would have watched it if I knew how long it was. Like, I started it, and I didn't even, like, think to look at, like, the length of the movie. Mistake number one, when I started at, like, 11 p.m. on a school night.
No.
Yeah, very bad idea. I was like, oh, yeah, no, it's just a movie, you know, hour and a half, 2 hours. 3 hours later, my eyes are closed. I'm like, is it over yet? But the music too. Oh my gosh, can we talk about the music for a second? Like, I think in like this like second half of the movie, I watched it with hope. And in the second half of the movie, I turned to her and I was like, I think they've been playing this audio track for 5 minutes. It's the exact same audio track, but from 5 minutes ago, that has been continuously playing. Like, can we change it? Can we switch? Like, I'm tired of listening to whatever I'm listening to right now. It was so long. It wasn't a bad movie, but it's not something I don't know if I'd want to sit down and watch it again.
Yeah, no.
Just for fun. Like, it was not that. And maybe it's because maybe it just wasn't like my scene or something. I didn't feel too much like emotion. It was very actiony, exciting, but it was long. And I think that deteriorated a lot as a viewer. Is that like the last section of it, like the second half could have just been 30 minutes and then we could have moved on.
The ending probably at the end.
That
Yeah.
too.
I think that You know, the movie is very appropriately named. At 3 hours long, it does kind of feel like one battle after another trying to watch it in one sitting.
My eyes were in a battle with my eyelids, so it felt.
But it was definitely very interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was like one of my favorites, but I think it was, well done for, everything that it did do, except, again, maybe the sound design.
Yeah.
But
Not my favorite.
yeah. A lot of music has a tendency to kind of sound the same to me in general, so
Yes. Next, we'll talk about the movie that currently has the most Oscar nominations with 16 in Oscars history, Sinners. I loved Sinners. I don't even know where to start. I think the movie was perfect. I loved everything about that movie. I love the acting. I love the writing. I love the directing. I love the costumes, the makeup, the special effects. The score is so moving. I could go on and on and on for days about this. This is another one that Curly and I watched together, and we have broken down several times. And I think, and she can correct me if I'm wrong here, this is both of our favorites out of all of the Oscar picks this year. But if she has another pick, then I'll let her say that. But yeah.
Yeah. So I did get to see I saw this one with Zoe, and then I got to see it again too with my sister, and it was great. I loved it. I think it is like my first pick, but Frankenstein is like really close. Like they're like really like, it's like Sinners is here, Frankenstein is like right here, so like they're pretty close. But the second time I watched it, I was just so much even more in depth, like, OMG, what is happening right now? Like, this is everything I wanted it to be. And I knew that going in. I knew it was going to be a great movie. Like, everybody knows, like, Michael B. Jordan is amazing at what he does. Like, it wasn't going to be a shock that it was a good movie, right? And honestly, like, and Ryan Coogler,
it's just a testament to how detail-oriented he is with
100%.
his films. He very much loves to go into details and make sure everything is accurate.
I didn't expect anything less from them working together. Nothing less than exactly what everything that movie is. I actually thought that this one was going to win Best Picture. This was my vote. I thought that Best Picture was going to go to Sinners. So I was kind of sad when that didn't happen, honestly. I was a little disappointed. Just because of the fact that it was very emotional, but it was very exciting. There were very many moments where it were like, what? Yes, this is perfect. This is what this movie needs. And the casting was amazing. The costume design, amazing. Like, there was nothing that you could point out and be like, this wasn't good. And then the way that social media has taken over this movie and incorporated it into, like, my sister was watching TikToks about it, and she was sending it to me of them, like, playing with different songs and incorporating it into different videos. And same with like Instagram. It's like social media took over this movie and put it out everywhere.
Didn't I send you a llama one yesterday?
Yes, you did. You sent me like a llama one of like the twins and it's
llamas.
Crazy. Yeah, it was. I loved this movie, and that's really all I have to say. Is there's not much more other than like this is everything it should be.
Mm-hmm. I think Sinners was just an amazing movie. I think there are some very, like, deep and interesting themes that are going on, and kind of the, like, almost historical perspective. But I think that this was like a very important movie, especially like now more than ever because of, the way things are going, just generally. But I know I was just talking about how I kind of struggle to tell music apart, but the score for this movie was completely incredible. There wasn't a single, like, time during this movie where I thought that the music was bad or boring or dragged on. I thought that all the music was amazing. I also think that the cinematography and the way that they use the camera framing to really help tell the story, I just think it was amazing. Amazingly well done.
I think you bring up like a lot of good points of like why it did like win all those other Oscars is due to, its score, its, cinematography is like, it was deserving of those, which is again like, take some, it had so much symbolism, but so much symbolism that it's hard to understand all of the symbolism. It's because like the second I watched it, I was like at home, like looking it up, like tell me all of the symbolism about Sinners, and it's like everything. You're like, how did they pull in so much into a single film? I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
They did it. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to break down a few of all of the Oscar wins, all of the losers, the snubs, the surprises, all of it. So we are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Welcome back. Let's talk about some of the big parts of the Oscars this year. We're going to talk about some awards and some snubs and some shocks. Let's start off with actor in a leading role. Now, from the get-go, this was pretty much narrowed down to, once it was announced, pretty much it was either going to go to Timothée Chalamet or it was going to go to Michael B. Jordan, and it went to Michael B. Jordan, which was very well deserved, in my personal opinion. I know when it was announced, my sister, who adores Sinners herself, and Michael B. Jordan as an actor, was we were both very happy, but I mean, we were both thrilled that he had finally was getting his roses and his flowers after being in the industry for so long. But what do you guys?
Yeah, so I am happy that Michael B. Jordan got this award. Like this, he deserved it. I'm happy that he got it. I don't know why I thought though that like you said, it could have also gone to Timothée Chalamet, and I thought that he was gonna get it. I was like this close, and I was like, Sinners has gotten everything. They're gonna give it to like Timothée Chalamet, but then they didn't, and I was like shocked. But then I was like,
I mean,
no, okay, this makes sense. Like they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, and I mean, I had said it was gonna be Timothy. I know I said that during our last show, but I think it definitely went to, in my personal opinion, the right person. I think Timothy's a great actor. However, I think Michael B. Jordan has just been, I think he just has just that little bit more to his acting.
I'm really glad that Michael B. Jordan got it. I think that, yeah, it was definitely narrowed down to either Timothée Chalamet or Michael B. Jordan. I think this is like a me thing, but like me personally, I'm not a huge fan of Timothée Chalamet just as an actor, but I think that Michael B. Jordan and his work in Sinners was just incredible, very outstanding. I think he definitely deserved it.
I think a lot of people are in the same boat with you about Timothée Chalamet. Like a lot of people are like, he's a good actor, but I don't really like him. And it's kind of like that like weird balance between, like I've heard a lot of like people being like, he's
gossip
not
and
my
rumors.
favorite, you know. It is the gossip and rumors, and it really like takes a toll then on how we view them.
I know.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with like celebrity gossip too much, and I don't think Timothée Chalamet is a bad actor. I just don't like him.
I mean, you also have to remember Michael B. Jordan was playing two people.
Exactly.
Two people. He took on double duty, and Timothée Chalamet played a ping pong player in a heist movie. I think. Marty Supreme I've not gotten to watch yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I don't know.
I do think that double role is definitely what
Pushed
won
it.
Michael B. Jordan the Oscar, though.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. Awarding.
Actress in a leading role, we'll talk about next. This one was, Jessie Buckley ran away with this before the Oscars were even, nominations were announced. She was winning everything. She won the BAFTA for this. She won the Critics' Choice Award. She won the SAG Award. She won the Golden Globe. She basically swept the award season this year, and it was so well deserved. I think her portrayal of motherhood and moms and loss and love was just, I'm getting choked up talking about it. It was just so moving and just like really struck me and took me.
I also like she took on like the role of like she was a strong and independent woman for so long throughout the movie, right? Like throughout Hamnet, she represented that in such a like good, strong way that I think that also was part of like that like the emotional like emotions that she gave the audience in her like acting. I think you're right. There was no other choice. I mean, Kate Hudson or Emma Stone, I feel like would have been very good like seconds to this. But Jessie Buckley was gonna get it. Like there was it really wasn't a competition.
I think if she wasn't in the running, if like Hamnet didn't come out this year, I think it probably would have gone to Kate Hudson because her role was also very emotional. I went and saw Song Song Blue with my parents. I think it was New Year's Day in the theater, and I cried. Like her performance just moved me so much.
I really don't think there was any question over who was gonna win this award. It was Jessie Buckley right from the get-go. I do think her performance is amazing. Same with all of the women on this list. I personally really liked If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, but I definitely think that Jessie Buckley is deserving of this award. She did such an amazing job in her portrayal. It was just incredible. It was a clean sweep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another award that kind of was not really a shocker who won it was Best Actress in a Supporting Role, and that went to Amy Madigan for Weapons. I've never seen Weapons because it's a horror. I don't really like that genre of horror isn't my cup of tea. However, from everything I had heard and like the brief clips I'd seen of her performance in Weapons, it was well deserved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved Weapons. In a like, this is weird but has a lot of meaning type of way. Like, these are my types of movies. Like, I love a good horror thriller. This is exactly what I want to watch. But Weapons had me like confused and excited and emotional all at the same time. And Amy Madigan just added to that, right? She made it creepier. She made it more exciting. And then she also somehow pulled in emotions when you didn't think there were any more emotions to be had. And I think she was deserving of this, especially like, again, I think all of these actresses are deserving of awards, but Amy came in and it had to go to her. It was exactly perfect.
I loved her role in this movie. I do think that Weapons was, definitely a little bit of a weird movie. There were a couple things that didn't quite make sense to me when I was watching it that I had to like go and look up a little bit after. But I think that her role in the film definitely was one of the things that really pulled the movie all together and like really just gave it the impact that it had.
I agree. Yeah, for sure.
Now we're going to kind of move on to the first of the kind of snubs, I guess. It could be snubs. It can be like kind of a shocker, but not really, with who won actor in a supporting role. This went to Sean Penn. And in my personal opinion, this category this year was stacked with great performances.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I had thought it was going to go to either Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value or to Delroy Lindo for Sinners. I personally believe that both of theirs, and actually Jacob Elordi's role as Frankenstein's monster, were way better than Sean Penn's role in One Battle After Another, in my personal opinion. Because Sean Penn has won now 4 Oscars, and I'm not sure how many the others have won. But I don't know. Just personally, I think they could have shared the wealth a little bit, or not given it to him, because his role was very unnerving and also it seemed flat to me.
I didn't like his role. Like
I
was
hated
like,
it.
he's creepy.
He's
like,
weird.
Get him out of here. I agree. Like, I wanted it to be Jacob Elordi, and I was hoping it would be, and I thought that he was deserving of it. Again, like I said earlier, like watching him develop and grow and be what he is now I thought was deserving of an Oscar. But again, I'm wrong. But honestly, you're right. Like, Sean Penn, he didn't need it. He didn't need it, honestly. And like, again,
he wasn't even there. That's
really,
the
was One Battle After Another our favorite movie? No, like, it wasn't. It was great, but it's not the best. Like, so many others had so many aspects of it that were better. And now, like, no. I mean, just no. This was upsetting. I was really upset
as an
about
audience
this
member,
one.
this was upsetting.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that just in general, One Battle After Another was kind of just like a little bit of a taxing movie to watch, because it is definitely a time commitment. But I do think that, this was a very stacked category. There were a lot of amazing actors on this list. And then,
Sean Penn.
And then, and it, of course, goes to the most disappointing option.
mean, Sean Penn himself he's a good actor. I just don't think this role was his best role.
No,
I think if they were going to give it to anyone from One Battle, it should have gone to Benicio. That man had me laughing. I thought he was funny. Like, he had some very funny lines in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, they did, like, One Battle After Another did get, obviously, an Oscar for casting, right?
Yes.
So we knew that from that they had a good cast, right? They were deserving of this, and like all of their others were as well. But like,
This one didn't really
He,
stick right to me.
his role was just not anything to be exciting or like excited or like proud about.
Like,
really.
if he didn't play as crucial of a role to the plot, I honestly probably would have forgotten Sean Penn was in this movie.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
I think that, like, even with the role he played, there could have been other actors that got nominated from this movie that I would have been happier to see win the award than Sean Penn.
Yes. Anyway, moving on from Sean Penn, let's briefly talk about, we talked about, let's talk about directing. Now, this one was a long time coming. It went to Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. Now, he has been directing movies for a very long time. Off the top of my head, I know he directed Boogie Nights, if either of you have ever seen that movie. But I think this one really, honestly, it kind of goes back to, once again, what I've kind of been calling the One Battle Sinners War, which is this entire awards show and season. It's kind of just been back and forth between the two of them. It's been like, especially if both films are nominated, it's like, who's going to win this? Like, is it going to go to Paul? Is it going to go to Ryan? And I think in the end, as much as Ryan Coogler's directing is fantastic, but I think with how long Paul Thomas Anderson's been in the industry, it kind of felt like to me they were just giving him his flowers. I mean, he did good directing in this movie, don't get me wrong.
No, I mean, I agree. I was hoping, though, that it would have gone to Ryan Coogler. Like, that was who I wanted it to go to. Like, he's such, like, I just love him.
I know, I love him
He's so,
too.
like, perfect.
But he did win an Oscar, because he wrote the Sinners screenplay. He wrote Sinners himself.
Yeah.
So he won Best Original Screenplay. So he did get an Oscar.
That is
technically,
true.
But it wasn't for directing.
He did, but I just like the way that he directs. Right, these movies that he has been like created and directed for have been like great. And so, I mean, you're right. Paul Thomas Anderson was also deserving of an Oscar, but I think that us as viewers might have been a little bit happier if it was Ryan Coogler.
Very, very
I would have
valid.
been much happier. I'd have been like celebrating. Instead, I was like, oh, I guess give it to him.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. I definitely would have liked to see Ryan Coogler win this award. I think it is another thing of just like, all right, Sinners is such an amazing movie. It's winning all these awards. We have to give, we got to share the wealth a little bit. But I don't think the directing, I'm not saying that Paul Thomas Anderson didn't deserve it. I'm just saying that I think I would have liked to see Sinners having won this award a little bit more, Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
But Ryan Coogler is is a lot more well known of a director for a lot of his other amazing movies. So it does it makes a little bit of sense.
I agree with you 100%.
Before we get to Best Picture, I do want to address a couple of brief history, kind of making things that happened at this year's Oscars. Number one, the first woman ever won for Best Cinematography for Sinners. I'm blanking on her name right now, but this came as a shock to me when I was told this by my father after she won the award. He's like, "Did you know she's the first woman to ever win cinematography?" I was like, "That can't be right." I'm like looking it up, and I'm like, oh, it is. It's true. I mean, first of all, it's about time, and second of all, her directing of the cinematography of that movie. First of all, cinematography of Sinners is fantastic, much like the rest of the movie. But I think this, out of every movie that was nominated, I think it was most deserving. And then the other bit of Oscars news and history was there was a tie, which is very rare. It has only happened now 7 times. The last time was back in 2013, but this one was for live action short film, and it went to the Singers and Two People Exchanging Saliva. Now, I'm not sure if either of you have seen any of the live action short films. I'm going to assume probably not. No. But it was a little shocking, I think, to everyone, especially my family, because we do Oscar games every year. I mean, I was a little shocked. I was like trying to figure out how we score this because there were 2 winners. Like, are we doing an extra point? Are we doing half a point each? I don't even remember how we ended up sorting that out, but it was kind of surprising that there was, I mean, they are so rare, but it was kind of cool to see a tie at the Oscars.
Yeah, that was definitely very interesting, the tie. I think it's also particularly interesting that that is the first woman to win a cinematography award, because I've been kind of around like the communications and, you know, just film and camera industry for a while, and I feel like it's a little sad that this is the first time it's happened in 2026, but I do think it is a little bit inspiring, because from my personal experience and what I've seen, I think that a lot of the people that are going into the film industry now and that are going into this, like, these industries are young women. I've been seeing a lot of young women getting involved, and I think that this was like kind of important just to say that a woman can win an award for cinematography, even if the odds have been a little strange up until this point.
Yeah, no, I agree with, I don't like that it took this long.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of women on, like, this Oscar ballot, right?
Yes.
Like, there were a lot. And that is inspiring, that is exciting, I'm glad that that is how it looks. But you're right, it took a really long time to get here, and it feels like it took too long. But I'm glad it happened, right? We're glad that it was a woman who won, and now we'll see what next year brings. And I was also shocked about the tie. I was like not expecting that. I hadn't watched the shorts, but I still I just guessed on which one I wanted to win, right? But it was I was surprised. I was like, oh, really? And over a live action short film, like, there was nothing else we could have given a tie to. Like, I was like, give me a tie on best director or something. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
that
would
would
have been okay.
wild.
Or, you know, give me a tie on best picture. Like, instead it was like,
Wow.
live action short. I was
short.
like, oh.
I mean, they're so cool when they happen.
They are, like, right, it is cool. I agree, it is cool. It's not, I'm not dismissing it. It was just like oh, okay, interesting.
With all the one battle after Sinners,
Yeah.
I think that may have been a little bit more interesting, but
yeah,
it is always cool when that does happen.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I want to go and watch all these short films.
Yeah.
yeah, and then be like, which one would I pick?
Yeah.
Last but certainly not least, the big prize. Let's talk about Best Picture, because I have opinions, but I always have opinions. So it obviously went to one battle, but however, I mean, we've been teasing this all show here. The one battle, Sinners 4. It really quickly became it was either going to go to one battle or it was going to go to Sinners. I almost, for one point, thought maybe Hamnet would sneak out a win there. But honestly, with the whole build-up, like the whole night, like everyone's like watching all these awards go, and it's like, oh, one battle, Sinners, one battle, Sinners, one battle, Sinners. And then it's like the big award of the night, and it's like, you think there'd be like this whole build-up and excitement, and then it's just like, it's like one battle. Yay. I mean, there were people cheering and stuff, and like they made a good acceptance speech. It just felt, I don't know about you guys, but to me it felt like it was a letdown. It was like this whole tension, and then it was just
It was a letdown. 100% it was a letdown. I was so disappointed. I was so sad.
I mean, I had Sinners to win, so
It wasn't what I wanted. I also had Sinners to win. They could have given it to, like, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Sinners. Any of those I would have been okay with. But one battle after another, like we've been talking about it all show, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it was a great movie. Obviously, it was good enough to make it on multiple places on this ballot. But was it really that good? Like, I mean, I've talked to people who are like, yeah, I loved one battle after another. But then a handful of people are like, meh. But, like, what? Like, I mean, it's fine.
There he is.
I've let it go. But yeah, there we go. Like,
Look at
there
that man.
is Michael B. Jordan, who should have.
He won.
And he did win Best Actor, but they should have also taken home
Best Picture.
Best Picture.
Yeah, I think that Sinners is the winner in all of our hearts.
Yeah, it's the audience winner. We
No,
love
right.
Sinners.
Like, I think that you would have seen a different reaction from everybody at, like, who was physically there. If Sinners would have won, everybody would have been
Standing
losing
up,
it. It would
clapping,
have gone crazy.
screaming.
Like, people would be so excited, and people at home would have been so excited. And instead, everybody is like, oh, turn the TV off.
Yeah,
That was literally my
literally-
reaction. I was like, oh, great, turn off.
Pretty much. That was
That
what
was
we
it. I
did.
was like, oh, I didn't like this. Bye.
Click.
Like, there was no, there was nothing else. I didn't want to watch TV anymore.
Yeah,
No.
and like I feel like Sinners had so much more intricate like symbolism and all of this like deep meaning. And One Battle it was a good movie, but I don't think I would have been as upset if it weren't for this One Battle in Sinners war
Yeah.
that kept going on just for Sinners to get snubbed in the Best Picture.
I mean, we have to say, I mean, it's not like Sinners went home empty-handed.
Yeah.
They didn't.
We talked about this kind of all show. They ended up going home with 4 Oscars: Best Actor, Original Screenplay, Cinematography, and Original Score. So I mean, it's not like they went home with nothing, but I think they could have gone home with more. And I think especially now we're kind of reaching the end of our thing, but we're also at the 98th Oscars. We are so close to hitting this 100th thing, and something that I'm really excited for, especially like category-wise. I mean, this year they added Best Casting, but I know for a fact there's some more down the pipeline, and the one that I know I'm really excited for, and this one's been a long time coming, is stunts. Stunt design is coming to the Oscars. I believe if it's not next year, it is the 100th. But my dad and I have talked about it extensively. Why this was not added a very long time ago, I do not know, because like stunt actors are such an important part of the industry, and I think like the fact that it's taken this long for them to get some sort of recognition I'm excited. I think that one I'm really excited to kind
I
of.
didn't know that actually.
Oh yeah,
So,
no, stunts.
okay.
Stunts are coming to the Oscars, and
As they should.
As
right?
they
Like,
should.
if we're gonna award everything else that we're currently awarding, stunts should be there.
Stunts should be there.
So that's that
I know.
one's-
There's going to be a whole lot more action and superhero films that are going to be nominated, I think, once this comes to fruition. But honestly, I can't wait.
Except for I don't want to watch the Oscars for 4 hours. Like 3 hours is long enough. If they keep adding awards, it's gonna suit. They're gonna be.
You're going to have to like split it into 2 parts.
Right? We're gonna be like sitting watching for like 5+ hours, and I'm gonna be like asleep on the couch. But like, so either we're gonna need to shorten it down a little
Or
bit,
like
or
do something, like get rid of some bits, get rid of something.
Right? Or they better all start inviting us.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no, I want an
invite
invitation
me,
to
please.
the Oscars next year
Yeah,
for sure. I want to go rock the red carpet.
I'll go in person then.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, then it can be long.
Then you'd
Yeah.
I think they give snacks. I hope they give them snacks because that's a long show. And
Snacks,
I get
drinks,
hungry, I
all-
need a
everything.
snack, I need a drink.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that they're adding stunt design. I know that the like action film industry has been kind of on the downswing as of late, so I hope this inspires directors to put a lot more thought and effort into the movies that they're putting out. But I'm very excited for the 100th Oscar show, because I feel like that one's gonna be like particularly special because it is the 100th. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like something special is gonna happen,
It has
and
to.
I'm excited to see it.
All right.
I agree.
Special thanks to Carly and Isaac for joining me today on VUTV Watch Party. I hope that you guys had as much fun as I did talking about the Oscars and everything, and I am actually really excited to see what comes next in the world of film, especially this year. I think films are stacked. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching us here at VUTV Watch Party, and I will see you next time.